Hello, and thank you for joining me. I'm excited to be simulcasting this on my usual YouTube channel under my name, Zorita Antaria. And I'm also simulcasting this to the Soul Alchemy Potions YouTube channel. So if you haven't gone over there and liked, shared, and subscribed, I'll eventually be splitting content, so having different content on both. But for now, I'm going to simulcast so that we can share the love and share the information with everyone. So tonight, we're going to be talking, or today, depending on where you are in the world, we're going to be talking about healing abundance wounds. So, this is a huge topic for many people. And I just want to say thank you for those that are joining us and some beautiful messages from some gorgeous soul family that are going to be at work. So, I know you guys will be watching the replay. So, thank you for that. And yeah, please, if you haven't already, if you can head on over and like, share, and subscribe, that would be lovely. We really appreciate that. And if you haven't already checked out this week, we've launched Soul Alchemy Potions. Let me bring this up bigger. So this is the abundance tea, and you can see here there's affirmations that go with each. So I attract abundance and prosperity with ease. So yeah, this aligns your energy when you're doing your rituals. So for example, I've got the abundance tea right here. I've got my little citrine crystal to go with it. So everything's about intention. And we know with water holds molecules of emotion, it holds patterns. So we're really looking at how we can best charge things to take it into our field. And thank you, everyone. I can see you in the chat as well. So it's so lovely to have Soul Family here. Hello, gorgeous people. And yeah, so tonight I picked some cards, and the cards that we got, what Spirit really wanted me to share with you guys, because we're doing a little bit of intuition and then a little bit of like NLP, EFT. We're going to be going over some tips and tools that you can use, some that I use myself as well, that will help us to be able to really shift things. Because abundant wounds, not only do they happen like within just us, it does usually go back generationally. So it's what we've taken in kind of 0 to 7 childhood wise. It's been blueprinted or imprinted upon us. So with this, we also want to look back even further into grandparents' generation too. And thank you so much for those that have already purchased the tea as well. And let me just bring up, before I show you these cards, I'm going to share with you the website. So this is the Soul Alchemy Potions website that my team and I have been working very, very hard on. They've really brought my vision to life. And this is actually the I Am That Witch tea. So it's a beautiful lemon myrtle tea with fruit in it as well. And let me just scroll through this. So you can see all of the affirmations listed under the tea. But tonight specifically, we're going to be talking about abundance tea. And you can see here what it looks like. So it's got apple and orange and peppermint. It's got a bit of turmeric in it too. Let me see if I've missed anything. A little bit of lemon peel and ginger. So with the orange, that's really a herb that's been used to attract abundance, and the same with mint as well. So these ones are really alchemically charged and work with the planetary side of things too. So I just want to share that with you guys. And this is what it looks like as a tea, a little bit closer up. So you can see with mine, I like to make it a little bit stronger. So I've got more of a concentrated one. But yeah, I can't wait to hear your experiences, everyone. And we have the Soul Alchemy Potions YouTube channel. So we can see here that there is quite a few shows coming up. In fact, almost straight after this, we have a show coming up with my gorgeous friend, Emerald Sinclair. We're going to be talking about activating love. Emerald is a love and a life coach, really specializing in helping, especially the feminine, to be able to move past blocks in love, to be able to attract. She has so many success stories and engagements and just amazing stories all around. So without further ado, let's get into the cards for tonight. So the first card that Spirit gave me in regards to removing abundance blocks, thank you, Marit, sorry. So the first card that we have is the Knight of Wands. And this card for me, whilst for most readers, it means like charging ahead, what I find is that that doesn't always lead to long-lasting results. So Spirit for me gives me this card, and they've nicknamed it the Tony Robbins card, as you guys have watched me on the other channels at Mason on Jupiter and my own channel. This card for me represents where those subconscious beliefs and blockages. So Spirit really wants us to look into where there's these little devils hiding in our brains, where there's subconscious programming that perhaps that we didn't want to take in. We didn't initially think that that was a good idea, but sometimes our minds will just run with programming that's put into us. And sometimes with this one, Five of Wands, Spirit calls this too many cooks in the kitchen. So it's conflicting beliefs. So we may on one hand wish to have, this amazing life, this abundance, but what we end up having happen is all of our programs and things happening at the same time. So we can be living in limbo, like right in the center. So we might be striving for all these things, but our programs are actually giving us more of what we've already had, or more of these kinds of energies. So tonight we're going to look at dissolving a few of the bridges and the gaps in the middle. And it really is focusing on this gap that creates more healing to catapult us into this quantum jump anyway. So this will be a really, really good show with tips and tools. It'll be one that you can come back to at any time that you need. Oh, thank you. You guys are so beautiful. And yeah, an Aussie with strong tea, of course. We do like our things strong. So the next card that came up was the Prince of Disc. So with him, for me, he's about creating our own reality. We see he has the sphere that's more kind of 5D and the cube inside of it. So it's more kind of the quantum or the 5D impacting and affecting our 3D reality. So this is where we actually need to implement the changes, is in our consciousness, in our belief system, in the subconscious mind, to shift timelines. So Six of Cups, it's about talking to the inner child. So whether working with, the emotion code, compassion keys, a wellness session with me, or a psychic reading with me, these are things that we can niche down and specialize. If you've been working at it for quite a while and you're a little bit stuck, I do recommend reaching out. We also have the Lover's card. So not only is it shifting into a higher timeline, it's aligning your vibration, your wavelength, and your frequency. So we can't be sort of in, the old patterns, old belief systems, or even victim mentality, or running the programs that were impressed upon us before age 7. So with this, we really need to sort of jump more into the Lover's card energy, which we can see Spirit can work with us in this way. So sometimes it is about releasing our problems, not focusing on them or putting more energy to it, remembering in terms of vibrational frequency, because we want to get up there higher when we're shifting. So one of the highest things of frequency as well. Oh, so those cards are the Thoth deck. So you can find them online, Thoth deck, Thoth, I think. I think you guys in the States might call him Thoth. But yeah, with this, it's based on Egyptian tarot too. So there's a lot of astrology symbols, sacred geometry that's also gone into the works of these. But yeah, what I was talking about in terms of getting our frequency high, we know that, love is one of the highest frequencies, but authenticity is even higher. So say, for example, you're experiencing, a bit more of this energy, feeling a bit blocked or feeling stuck or not knowing sort of how to shift past this. We actually need to utilize this energy. So this little symbol down here in Hebrew is called a yin. This actually represents more the thyroid and throat chakra area and sort of the guttural sounds. And we know that with magic, our words create our reality. We are literally speaking spells into reality. So we need to go back and address that little part of us that maybe, witnessed something, or maybe, parents were struggling, and it can be around anything to do with abundance. It might be not experiencing abundance around love. It might be not experience of abundance in certain countries where food was perhaps more scarce. And so we can sort of live still within a scarcity mindset. Or sometimes it's not about, it may have been that you've grown up where your parents maybe didn't have the funds to do exactly what you wanted to do. And so there's a lack belief system or program that's been installed. So we need to address this first. And my gorgeous friend Bonnie, who I'll eventually have on too, she does a lot of compassion code and emotion code work where, you're holding your hand on your heart, on your belly. She takes you through a process of where you go back to that version of self and you actually speak to that inner child. And it sounds a little bit like, I'm so sorry that you may have been experiencing a lack of abundance and really feeling that this was quite hard for you, and you'll see all these other phrases that are really dealing with kind of more bringing acknowledgement to that other part, because when we bring acknowledgement, we're not ignoring it. And so these little ghosts in the machine can be a little bit more dissolved. With this too, with the Five of Wands, it is Saturn energy versus Leo. So we've got a little bit of control and constriction trying to happen. It's a little bit of a push-pull type situation. So I've got a few little notes and things too. So first step would be to identify root causes. So you do want to look back to early as you can remember. What are your affirmations, whether they're negative or positive? What are your affirmations? So get your journal out. Thank you, Jake. And I can see Lakeside Laura as well saying definitely a generational guilt thing. My parents were of a depression, not big spenders. Yeah. So a lot of us, that are around now would have witnessed, grandparents coming from depression age or parents coming from the depression age. And so there really was like a scarcity blueprint that was programmed into the collective conscious. So this is where we really need to look at ourselves as individuals, but it is interesting to look at it from a collective as well. Thank you, Corbin. Yeah, I'm so excited to work with, this is all the methodology and things that I work with as well, with creating and working with rituals. I feel it's so much more powerful when we actually have, the tea to focus on to be the magic that we take in afterwards. So identifying the root causes. So these can stem from childhood, as we were saying, social conditioning. So even within school systems, we don't really receive financial education. So this creates confusion. It creates a lot of guesswork, and it creates a lot of having to kind of find your way through life rather than being giving the information and education. So education is another thing. If you're wanting to shift, you need to put yourself into a mindset of someone who would have abundance. They wouldn't really be doing the guesswork so much, although there is some that will really follow intuition, but they would be getting more of an education as well. I can see you guys are in cool timelines. So the next would be challenging this limiting belief. So recognize, question your belief, and also establish is there a limited sense of deserving abundance? So some of us may have had things or phrases said to us, especially if we've grown up with multiple siblings, a big family, or as Lakeside Laura was saying too, maybe, from parents or grandparents that were coming from that depression age. They may have put out there that it's greedy to want things, that who are we to want for more, ungrateful. These were a lot of the old abundance wounds programs that we actually no longer need to have. And it's not that our parents or grandparents would be, pushing this into us with that negative attention or wanting to squish down a level of acceptance around abundance. It's more that was coming from their perceived program, their perceived version of reality. So it's time to scrub them out and eliminate them. The next thing too would be with these challenging and limiting belief systems as well, really looking at replacing them with abundance too. So I've drawn up this as an example. So you can even do this in Canva. I love Canva. I create so much in Canva. It's a lot of fun. So I did journal this first, and I just thought I'll type it up so you guys can see it. But yeah, I've written new version of self, and this is just something I stick on my wall near my desk. So I've got it as a reminder, or if I'm noticing any unconscious programs come up or belief systems, so I put old version of self, and we see in the wealth category here, the old version would have felt stagnant, would have felt unsure, perhaps insecure, and a little bit lost, or as I talk about it, 8 of Wands energy relating to tarot, which is all these arrows, these possibilities and things going out. And what happens is you dilute your strength, you dilute your frequency and energy. So when we create surety and we write out the flip opposite script, what we actually tap into, and the opposite of feeling stagnant would be feeling stability and freedom. The opposite of feeling unsure would be feeling security. And the opposite of feeling insecure would be feeling safe. So when we look at even just that feeling of safety alone, this is usually established within the first 7 years, where we're either feeling insecure or feeling a lot more safe. So these would be like the healing remedies to flip you into the other side, because your brain might be looping. Oh, and I can see a bird joining us in the background. Your brain might be looping and saying these old things that are from like such an early age, like, oh, I'm not really sure like what to do, or I don't feel safe. Even sometimes it's about trusting yourself. And Laura's saying as well, even age 3, same. I've got ones from age 2. My beautiful parents doing as best as they could for, I'm one of 4 siblings, the oldest, but, earlier on in life, it was a little bit of struggle for them, in terms of like really, how would I say? Being an entrepreneur, and my father's an entrepreneur as well, there's times where things can be tight. And there's times where, as a child, you might be emotionally, and especially if you're quite sensitive, empathic little soul, like I was, you might be soaking things in that are not even conversations that are heard out loud. So sometimes it's not things that we've heard at all. And so it's really good to tap in to do this journaling. Write down things you remember being told, or things that you remember, maybe conversations and that happening. One of them would be money doesn't grow on trees, is a good example of them. Oh, Rainbow Sun. We're the strong daughters. Apparently, it's a really good thing. I was just reading about that yesterday. And I can see Corbin saying, I went down a rabbit hole of galactic astrology to understand more of my family's ancestral trauma. Very interesting. Yeah, so you can see it within your astrology too. I love that. And sometimes it'll come up like in the family sector. It's good to look into house number 2 as well, because this is kind of like where our values and money and things like that are. And for me, my Venus sign is in there. So if I tap into my Venus sign, which is Venus in Cancer, I can actually channel and create more abundance. So Venus also will pull in income and things, but that is a topic for another show. Really looking at like what would be this gap between these two. So what could I do in terms of like practicality to heal, like from feeling stagnant to start feeling stable and to start feeling this freedom? So maybe listening to podcasts that talk about financial, oh, lovely. It's such a gorgeous place to have it. Maybe looking into financial podcast, taking in information around, wealth building and around breaking generational curses, things like that. Really regulating your nervous system is a huge one with this feeling unsure and this feeling of security or feeling insecure and feeling safe. So hands on your heart, hands on your belly. And as the gorgeous Russell Price that I had on a couple of weeks ago on my channel, Sarita Antaria, that you guys will be able to find a link back to. And I might be able to upload it and put it on Soul Alchemy as well, because it was such a great topic around abundance. And I just really want to bring information to help heal these wounds that a lot of us have right now, and to even propel us further, because it's always about working on ourselves. But one thing Russ was saying was, putting your hand on your heart and your belly. He was talking about taking a breath, and then you want to take another breath on top of that breath. And what that's doing is helping to reset your nervous system so that you're actually tapping out of fight or flight. So that would be a really good way to close this gap between the different belief systems. So anytime you notice that you're consciously or even catching that subconscious thought about running these old programs, coming in, doing a bit of like nervous system work, even talking to yourself, whether it's the inner child or talking to yourself now, actually reminding yourself that you are safe. Because a big part of this loop and a big part of why these programs keep playing, it's actually the caveman parts of our brain. So it's part of the amygdala in the center of the brain and a part of the reticular activating system. And in the old days, that would have served us really well. So what I mean by that is if we're in a cave and there's a mountain lion on the outside and your brain's like, remember when you go out, watch for the mountain lion. Whereas we're not in that kind of situation now, but these things will feel like survival situation. So yeah, these are really important things to look into. So get out your pen and paper, write down new self, old self, new self, and you want to look at each area of life. And I'll go into some of these on some of the upcoming shows, but that's a little bit just around finance and what I think to share with you guys as well. Thank you, Jake. Jake saying, I wasn't sure if I would be able to tune in, but this show and the energy of this community was much needed. I was spiraling a bit beforehand, and I'm so grateful for everyone and for you too. So, gosh, it makes me emotional reading these things because I feel the same with you guys. I feel we're so lucky to have each other and to be able to have this container for support, and the Maison Jupiter community as well. You guys know I love those girls. So, oh, and I see you were also the oldest of four as well. But yeah, you are a beautiful, sensitive soul too. So I'm sure there would have been some absorption going on. So let's have a look into the next one. So step number 3 would be practical gratitude. So just cultivating your daily gratitude practice. So usually this is more important when we're in kind of that brainwave state as we're waking up. So really, what are the first 5 things I can think of for being grateful? So I even have like little affirmations on my wardrobe so that when I wake up, if I remember to look, I see them. The other thing that I found really good is an app. So there's an app called Manifesti, like Bestie, but Manifesti, and you can pre-program affirmations to go off at certain times on your clock. So it'll just pop up something. You can even pop up for where you watch an affirmation video that you may have created. It's a really great app. Highly recommend that too. And it's so lovely having you guys here. Gosh, you can just feel the love. So yeah, really looking into releasing any guilt and shame. We're up to number 3. Cultivating a daily gratitude practice to help you shift towards abundance rather than scarcity. So even those 8-hour meditations, and I will eventually work out how to loop in a meditation because I will create one for our community around abundance, and one that will help to reprogram the subconscious mind and actually shift and teleport us into, or quantum jump us into the version of us that we want to have. So these things, what we're absorbing music wise too, really listening to music that's more uplifting and a positive mindset and programming. So acknowledge and appreciate your blessings, because we know that when we step into gratitude, it has such a heightened state of frequency that we're actually raising our vibration. So when we're grateful, we attract more gratitude. It's literally, it's in quantum physics. So what you focus on is what you attract. This is also why it's important to have such a beautiful tribe around you. And I know that with our gorgeous soul tribe that we have here, thank you. Just the container that we're working with right now, I can't wait to see where we are a year from now. I just am so excited, and I see some of our community even doing their own podcasts and things like that, and I'm so incredibly proud. I feel like a proud mama, like watching everyone take flight. So practicing your gratitude. Number 4 as well would be like really releasing any guilt and shame. So we talked a little bit about that with like talking to the inner child, but just noticing consciously if it's still thank you, Laura. That is cool. I would like to hear about that one day. And yeah, I definitely would be putting a guided meditation together around abundance. So with this about releasing more guilt and shame too, notice like even when you're spending. So, you're getting out your purse or your wallet and there's an apprehension or a feeling around, oh, maybe I shouldn't really be doing this, but it is maybe something essential that you need. You need to be like, I'm so grateful that I actually have the money to spend, or I'm so grateful that I'm able to take in more abundance. And we also want to change the wording that we're using. So from a psychology imprint point of view, and words being spells, we don't want to use the word, we hear the word spend or expenditure, and there's a limiting connotation around that. So using the word circulate using the word flow or cash flow are things that we want to use. So I'm so grateful that I can circulate my money to bring me amazing things. I'm so grateful that I'm in flow, or that I have the cash flow to be able to put the fuel in my car, to be able to put the food in my belly. Just little things like that to be grateful for. And we're very lucky, most of us being in the Western world. Um, Oh, I like that, Lorianne. That's a cute tip too. I prayed over my purse and wallet and invited abundance to flow to me. And that's the same. When we're working with the tea and the affirmation, I attract abundance and prosperity with ease. And really feeling that bubble up like a little cauldron in the tea and in the potion, and drinking that. We're taking that into ourselves. So the next one, step number 5, and I made sure to put numbers with it. I might be able to put timestamps after. I'll have to see. It's a busy week. So 5 would be visualizing success. So using the technique of visualization, really see yourself like engaged and living in that picture. So what I mean by that is we tend to replay what we don't have, and we tend to replay the hard things. So with this, it would be more kind of focusing on really, tapping into those theta brainwave stages. So this will be in the meditation that I create too. So really like feeling your nervous system connecting with your breath, maybe doing a bit of cyclical breathing. And then you want to visualize or even feel within your body what it feels like to be in this end state. So going back to this, you might be feeling the stability, the freedom, the security, like the groundedness of really sort of feeling in this end result. And for those of you that are quite visual, and I also recommend not just including the visual sense, but what are the smells that you can feel around you, or even using the aroma of the abundance tea and feeling like this connection of that transporting you to this end result. But you want to build it out until you're feeling like it's actually happened. So another thing that I love with reality shifting and with visualization too is you can visualize a mirror. So this is a hypnotherapy technique and an NLP technique. So in your visualization, you might be seeing a mirror in front of you, and you're looking at yourself in the new house, or perhaps like in the new circumstance, and you're talking to a family member or a best friend or someone that really loves you unconditionally. So visualizing yourself in front of the mirror, seeing the other person look at you and feeling the excitement as you're telling them about this. So what's happening is you're linking someone from your reality to be in this place of creating more charge. So it just makes it a lot more believable to the brain, because what we visualize, our brain actually can't distinguish between if we're remembering something that's actually happened, and when we're programming it, the brain kind of associates that with a memory. So if you're linking a friend or family, like celebrating, you're building like even more charge into it. So that is another good one. So visualizing your success. And what I want to add to that, if we were to do like a 5A, it would be before or coming out of the after side of doing that, probably more the after, really kind of doing something different. So when we look into magic, when we're creating, say, like an altar, or we're creating a magic ritual, you actually want to bring a different frequency charge, because we can be like, holding our potion or like doing the mindset stuff, and we're like, oh yeah, I really like want abundance, like, and the frequency might be down here. So we actually need to step into greater energy and a greater like electrical conductivity and charge. So dance around to the music, turn it up, shake your body, get your nervous system and your vagus system engaged with this. What that's going to do, it's actually going to put a different charge to it. So, with magic and with herbs and things, we are putting like different frequencies in. So this is part of like how it works, is we're using these tools. So if you can transport yourself into like feeling like really like shifted in your energy and things as well, this is really, it's going to give you a much greater result. So you can do candles, You can do cleansing baths and things as well to shift the frequency. So number 6 would be setting clear goals. So really define your financial goals and align your values with that and your aspirations. So breaking them down into actionable steps is actually really good too, to make them more achievable. I like to do it on my phone. And because I'm very visual, I'll actually put together, I won't show you because it's got photos of my kids in there, but I've got just a little album. So if you've got an iPhone, I'm not sure if it works the same for Android, but I've got like a 2024 vision board, which is just like where I can scroll through the photos. And you can do the same in that manifesting app that I was telling you guys about as well. And thanks, guys. So yeah, with that, you really want to like set your clear goals, because if it's undefined, we're more in 5 of Wands, 8 of Wands energy. We're like willy-nilly manifesting things. And this is why I call this too many cooks in the kitchen. So we might be making pancakes, but we could be making like a pot roast or something at the same time. It doesn't really kind of like make a coherent recipe. So you want to be making sure that you've got it written down, that it's clear, that like you're following your recipe for success. So number 7 would be invest in self-worth. Lovely. I can't wait for you to try it. So number 7, invest in self-worth. So build your self-worth independently with your financial situation. So you also want to have that established where you're really loving and accepting yourself. It doesn't mean that you're linking it to finance. So it might be that you might not currently be going through a good financial state, but you don't want to let that imprint or affect your self-worth. So with this too, we also see sometimes when we start to shift and create change in manifestation, is the universe will actually give us a little bit more of the same. So you might be trying to create a new belief system and a new structure for that quantum jump, and your past stuff will come up because the universe is, bringing you different things that you've already had, because you're in still perhaps like according with that, or it's still running as like an old program or a template. So it's going to bring you like more of what you're used to because you're in that conversation or that loop. So it's really important to break that, to establish that self-worth outside of that thing, but not to get frustrated when more of the old shows up. What I usually do is sort of tap in and I step more into appreciation and gratitude, that I'm aware that I've noticed the pattern. So with this, it helps to kind of disintegrate it a lot more too. So yeah, definitely invest in your self-worth. So doing other things, whether it's, really looking after your health, I find is a good cornerstone, because that uh, affects like all areas of life too. So the other thing too, and I just see Lorianne saying, I also stream 432 frequency for me and my spouse every morning for a few hours daily. I love that. That's such a good practice. And that's what I love about this community. We're all working together to become much greater. So I love that. And yeah, it's so nice to hear. So number 8, seek support. So surround yourself with supportive individuals. And with this, we have this here in this beautiful container. You can see the love and support for each other that we have here as well. So yeah, surround yourself with supportive individuals who encourage your growth and success. Seek guidance from mentors or therapists who specialize in abundance mindset. So it's something I can work with too in sessions. If you guys were interested in booking a session, we can have a look into, what the programs and things are underlying underneath. And I would suggest, with that, we can always do that either in a psychic reading or in a wellness session. It's something I can really just tailor to you guys. But with this, with the support, there's a saying that you are essentially like the 5 people that you most hang out with. So if they're saying like negative stories, or they've got fear, or they're really not shifting things and it's sort of same old, start to hang out with a different group or start to take in different information, because we want to start stepping into more of kind of like a new character. I'm just looking at your comments as well. And I can see David saying not interested in earthly wealth. So it's more, it might be an abundance of, organic fruit trees on your property. It might be an abundance of love. So it doesn't have to be about like the earthly wealth. What I do notice, and I'm glad that I saw this message too, because for some people, it will be, core belief systems around it's not spiritual to want abundance or success or, greater finance. But they say that money doesn't change people, it more kind of amplifies who they are. So, say, for example, if someone had, a really good heart, good belief systems, and they really wanted to share with the world, if they were to attract more abundance, they'd probably help more people. So we can start to shift, like, some programming things around this as well. But yeah, I'd love to hear, like, what are you guys wanting? What does abundance mean to you? You guys can pop that in the chat too. So yeah, we have the community here, which we're so blessed for, but making sure you have it in the physical too, and making sure that if you're hearing negative stories, because sometimes we can't avoid it, whether it's, from partners or from family or from, friends, if you hear them sort of saying negative statements of that, you might want to, in your mind or heart, say a counteractive statement when you're hearing these other ones as well. So yeah. So yeah, same. So very good point. I wish I was rich so I could give more money to people who need. So yeah, those that have good intentions like to expand and, bring more abundance to others too, or set up, whether it's, beautiful establishments or one of my favorite charities is the Fruit Tree Foundation, and 100% of the proceeds go to that. I think David Wolf does it. So, the more abundance, the more, you can donate to good charities and things too. Being mindful, a lot of charities don't actually give the money on to the people. So number 9, practice abundance mindset. So with this, embrace an abundance mindset by celebrating the success of others and believing in limitless opportunities for yourself. So for example, some people might be in frustration of, oh, why is it always happening to everyone else? What you want to sort of pop your mind into, and I love doing this. So like if I'm out and about and I see amazing things happen or incredible things happening for my soul tribe or family, I get excited for them. And it's like, if them, then me is the phrase that I use. And I can see one of my gorgeous best friends here from Melbourne. Hey, Pixie. So lovely to see you joining us. So yeah, with this, it's really good to sort of step into when you see good things happening for other people, or say you're out at a shopping mall and there's the car that you love. You can even say, oh, if them, then me. So really kind of, instead of like, oh, I wish I had that and being in lack, it's to really, oh, thank you. That is so sweet. Oh, I love that. That's so beautiful. Thank you. I'm doing my job then. So yeah, if them, then me, or if her, then me, or if him, then me. So we want to be in this beautiful, expansive, like celebrating energy. And yeah, I can see David saying envy with a question mark. So we really want to address and look at like the reasons behind envy. That sometimes is more of like a one-on-one session, getting into that, because that can be deeper seated things that sometimes will be also to do with like other things in terms of more kind of programming. Sometimes you can see it in astrology and things too. But yeah, number 9, so practice abundance mindset. That was what we just covered. So really looking into being grateful. And there's an experience I want to share with you guys. So back when I think I was 20, and I remember reading the book God I Am. This was like when I was in college. And I remember there was a practice within that where you sort of put yourself meditation-wise in unison with the universe or with God. And, for me, not growing up religiously, I didn't have like a locked in perception of that. But for me, God was, the trees and in the birds and in everything. Sort of we're looking at it from a universal or pure source point of view. But what happened like with that was once you sort of like tap into realizing that we are kind of in everything, you realize that like how abundant things are. And I actually had like my consciousness split to be like living in the tree at the same time as living in the bird. So if we're celebrating and we're really kind of like lifting this energy for other people, it doesn't mean that we have to like overtly do it. For me, it's like an inner process, and I feel like a light going off when I'm saying things like that. So even if it's just walking past, some of my favorite cars or things like that. But yeah, number 10, shift your frequency and create a new story. So with this, we talked about that a little bit here. We're going to do a little bit of a practice in a moment as well, where we're going to be doing some tapping. So we want to, with the shifting the frequency, we want to calm the nervous system. We want to make sure that we're not in fight or flight, that we're not in where we're overstimulated, and we're tapping into this fear kind of kidney chi energy as well. And I love that, Jake. Good point. With quantum perspective, there is no lack, there is no need for jealousy. And if we think about this being a simulated reality, these are programs. And that's what I was saying before. Sometimes astrology programs or belief systems, and I just saw the fairy, can be underneath things or our parents' programming. So yeah, this is really important to look into all of this stuff. And you might want to even go back and watch this show, because I know I'm putting a lot in. Awesome, Corbin. That's so cool. So we're going to do some more. Next, number 11, the final step would be take inspired action. So actively pursuing opportunities which align your goals and values. So trust your ability to create abundance through action and intention. So sometimes you will know what it is that you need to do in order to create more that charged future version of self. So when we're looking into this, say I've got this amazing, beautiful future version of me. She's working out, she's feeling like active, she's eating right, she's like, doing things consistently, because with a bit of ADHD, we can struggle with doing things consistently. Maybe I'm installing new accountability things. I'm putting alarms on my phone, or putting programs and things or affirmations around to keep my brain in this inspired action, or this like feeling of taking inspired action. And even with that, a lot of like nervous system work and meditation will help when you're feeling, because sometimes we let ourselves down too. So sometimes that will turn us into a negative spiral. So with the inspired action, really making sure you're looking after your nervous system. You might want to do like some rescue remedy or other flower essences for 2 weeks. So it's just like a couple of drops under the tongue, which is going to help dissolve some of those like subliminal energetic or vibrational blocks too. But yeah, taking inspired action. So it might be, say you're looking at doing, Julie just put up the solar chart course. Say you're wanting to like understand more about solar charts and that, and you're thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking and imagining how great it would be. The inspired action would be just like literally booking it and doing it. Or the same even, like with the smoothie challenge that we all just did in the Maison Jupiter community as well. I know that, we can all think about like eating well and healthy, but with this encouragement of all of us together, it does help us to take more inspired action. So definitely get yourself around community that causes you to, that's so funny. This word is hilarious. I learned from the girls what this means, tabernacle or tabernac, I've heard as well. Yeah. So for those of you not in Canada, apparently it's like a religious item or something in churches that's also used as a swear word. So hopefully I'm not offending anyone right now. But yeah, so I'm just checking if there's anything else that we've missed. But to recap, where is the gap for you? Heal that root, and you will shift. So give that nurturing to that part of you rather than focus so much on like this inspired action. So heal the root first, followed by inspired action. Let's look into the tapping side. So maybe taking a deep breath, and let me just see. Oh, I'm just looking for what you guys are saying in the chat. Oh, cool. Fairy Patrol. Awesome. All right. So now let's just all begin to take a few deep breaths together. I just want you to hands on your heart, hands on your belly, just coming into your body, feet flat on the floor, just taking a few deep breaths in. We're going to exhale with a on the exhale breath, and that resets your parasympathetic nervous system and helps to kind of shake off or purge, anything out that we no longer need. So just taking another deep breath in and just exhaling all the way out with a and one more. So inhaling all the way in, exhaling all the way out with a So I've just got a couple of little notes here that we're going to go over with this tapping. So what we want to do is start with this little karate chop. So this technique comes from EFT, emotional freedom technique. We also learn a little bit of this with kinesiology and with NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. So we just want to start here banging on this little karate chop area. And you guys, if you can repeat it out loud, that would be wonderful. If you're in a room with other people, not to worry. So even though I feel this stress about abundance and financial security, I deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. And then we're just going to go to the eyebrow area. So feeling stressed about abundance. And even though I'm carrying all of this pressure around, it can be tough to relax my mind where money is concerned. And under your nose, I'm now releasing this stress that I've been carrying. And on the chin, I choose to feel calm and at peace. And on your collarbone, so I'm letting go of all tension and worries around money. Under your arm, I'm now releasing all scarcity and fears that I may have been carrying around, whether known or unknown, or hidden or trapped, around money, wealth, and abundance. Top of the head. So I'm embracing a new positive money mindset around wealth and abundance. So we're just going to take a nice big deep breath in and just exhaling all the way out with a just feeling your intention to feel calm, secure, open, and to receive abundance. And we're just going to go through that one more time. So even though I feel this stress around abundance and financial security, I deeply and completely choose to love, honor, and accept myself and my feelings around abundance and money. So we're going to tap the eyebrow. So I'm now choosing to let go of all of this stress about money and abundance. I'm actually starting to trust my ability to attract abundance, an abundant mindset, and abundant people into my life. I'm actually open to receiving wealth, abundance, and prosperity. I deserve to live abundantly. And on your chin, I know that I am worthy of financial security and money is safe with me. So just on the collarbone, I'm now releasing any doubts, fears, negative or hidden or trapped beliefs around financial security, wealth, and abundance. So under your arm, I'm grateful for the abundance that I do have in my life and more coming to me. Top of the head, I'm now open and ready to receive more. So just taking a deep breath in again, exhaling all the way out with just noticing how your nervous system feels, noticing that sense of calm in your body, or perhaps a different sparkling of energy. And just sitting and holding that as much as you can. You can come back to this video at any time and do this exercise. You can even have a look or investigate. There is so many EFT videos out there online as well. So yeah, let me just see if there's anything else. How are you guys feeling? I can see Carly saying wonderful. And I see Britt Marit with fairies and diamonds. Oh, good. Yeah, so you can really notice the difference before and after. Sometimes you could even write a little scale of, between 1 to 10, how you're feeling before that process. And even if you're still feeling it a little bit, come back to this video and do it before you go to bed tonight as well. And that is so good. So for home play, as we call it in the kinesiology world, which is another word for homework, maybe even getting some little rescue remedy essence or spray or ones that are around abundance. So have a look, Google flower essence abundance. Over here, Ian White, who does the Australian bushflower essences, I'm pretty sure he has an abundance essence as well. So doing that over the course of 2 weeks as well. This makes me so happy. Oh, cute rainbow sun. Your dog's helping you as well. So happy. Okay. Well, I'm going to finish this live because we have Emerald coming up. But yeah, please come back to the comments. Let me know like how you're doing with this as a little bit more of a regular practice, and we can celebrate each other's abundant success as well. So let me know of your wins. And I love and adore you guys. Thank you for joining me. Before we go, I do want to pop this up. And this is the next show that we have coming up. So we can see here we've got Emerald coming up and activating love. Oh, I also forgot to mention I had this saved too. So if you go on over to my channel, which you can see my name, Sarita Antaria, please hit the notification button, like, share, subscribe, and the Soul Alchemy Potions channel, because I will eventually be mixing it up and having some different things. With Soul Alchemy, it's really going to be focused on shifting us into a higher state and higher version of who we are, and really helping amplify and increase abundance, prosperity, and success and love, and attract greater love. But yeah, you can always do this to help jump you or quantum jump you into that higher timeline like we talked about today. So just coming back here as well. So these are available right now. And we also have a special promotion at the moment too that you'll see. So go to soulalchemypotions.com. There is the beautiful Carrie Ann talking about her experience with the potions. And she sent me another message today too, just saying how much she's still enjoying them. So we do have the bundle package available at the moment, which just makes it a lot more affordable. You can see I've bundled them into Activate My Power, which has Abundance, I Am That Witch, Love Potion, and Vision Quest. And it's really interesting to see like what people's favorites are. We also have let me just see. There's a little bit of a blog that we've started as well. So you can always come here for more information, and the little section where you can read a little bit about how this was founded and formed, and you can read a little bit more about Soul Alchemy Potions. So thank you guys for joining me today. I am beyond grateful. I love you all very much. And I will see you soon for Attracting Love, which is on in about half an hour. Okay, bye.